talk to us. I mean, what did you think of the face-off between Sheeraz and Torres? Can you read anything into it? What do you think we're going to see between them?
I just think Hamza looks ultra confident. It's a big title, isn't it? These WBC silvers. I know, people probably say that these titles go around a bit too much, but as far as I'm concerned, it's one below world level, and Hamza's trying to get put a stamp on that international scene. Although there's some big domestic fights out there for him, I think it's a big step in the right direction. But also you've got to have the opponents that have to qualify for these titles are of a certain calibre, and therefore this can't be taken lightly.
Well, Denzel was looking on saying, "Oh, that belt looks nice."
It does. I'm sure Denzel it is. Like I just mentioned the domestic fights, but I think that's one for the future for definite. I think everyone assumed that would be made pretty quickly, didn't they? You and Hamza, but we got two top middleweights, and I think it's going to be a top fight when they do meet. But I think both guys have got international strides to make before they get there. Is it bigger than a British title fight? Maybe, probably.
Yeah.
And I think we could see that for a European or some sort of eliminator down the road.
Well, that's a big fight for the future. A big fight for the now is Mark Heffron and Lennox Clark. I mean, it was quite tense up there.
Mark looks comfortable, didn't he? He looked quite comfortable at the weight. Obviously, Mark's he's campaigned at middleweight, as Denzel knows as well.
Yeah.
And he looked comfortable at the weight. Lennox obviously he's fighting at his true championship weight. Been out for over a year, and it's going to be it's a very interesting one because I think Lennox has obviously had, like I said, that a bit of time off. Wants to confirm that good win against Willie last year wasn't just a sort of flash in the pan, and obviously wants to put a stamp on the titles and confirm have that first defence, as well as pick up an IBF international.
It's a good. The stakes are very high in that fight. Yeah. Tell me, Francis, have you ever turned down a pack of Haribo? Because that's what James Beach did.
I have actually. I'm not a bit. Believe it or not, I'm not one for sweets. So no, I'm not one for sweets. But I tell you what, James Beach wasn't interested. But and I think. And Dennis, at featherweight, I thought he would have been able to afford a few packs, during the build-up. But having spoken to Alan, and he looked in great shape, didn't he?
He did.
He looked in really good shape. But having spoken to Alan and Dennis, over the past sort of 3-4 weeks, you could see he's getting. I still think he'll end up at super bantam. To be honest, I think he said he's made the weight quite comfortably. But this is what these early stages of your career is for. It's to find your feet, find your.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
Find.
The best way for you
find out where how your camp should sit, how your food prep, and when to drop your weight and when to hold it, and it's all a learning process. And this is why I really respect these WBC international silver titles as well, because it does give the fighters that championship feeling without massive amounts of pressure. In terms of they do allow you to sort of a bit of leeway to say, right, we can go to bantam or we can go to feather, and I've got a lot of respect for the WBC for allowing fighters who are 9-10-0 to have that sort of championship feeling of a title fight.
Well, you've got the WBC silver featherweight title on the line when Nick Ball defends his crown against your man Nathaniel Cocololo, who has come over here. He's very confident
and tall. He's tall, rangy. He's it's like. Tommy Hearns.
Maybe he's Namibia's answer to Tommy Hearns.
Do you know what? It almost reminded me a bit of Brady's Prescott sort of thing, where you think he turns up and you think, I'm sitting there thinking, oh shit. No, listen, Nick Ball's a little machine. He's a little wrecking ball, and what he did at Wembley for me, probably. Obviously Tyson stole the show as he would, but that's a standout performance.
100%. I was saying to Dev when I saw that fight, I didn't know much about him, who he was. I just knew he was the same weight as Louis, who's my stablemate, and I saw that and I thought, geez, the new stars popped on the scene here. Yeah. And I was impressed with it. I think Cocololo confidence was coming from Nick Ball being that much shorter than him, and I think that's a mistake. I think Nick Ball's a serious guy. Yeah.
Well, I think go and ask Isaac Lowe if height matters, because Nick's very short, and it's not just like winging it. Nick boxes properly, and then when he senses that that finishing opportunity, he takes it. And for me, he's one of the rising stars of world boxing, not just British boxing. I think he can do some serious damage in the next 12 months on the world scene.
He's also a very cool and calm customer. And that demeanour reminds me.
I think he's hot deep down. He's got a hot head.
Yeah.
he seems calm, but I think in his mind he's a bit angry.
Well, in the face-offs, you can see his eyes never leave Kakalolo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at all those guys at Red Triangle, they're all pretty fiery. I mean, Andrew Kane, same thing.
Oh, they're all from the same camp, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely something, definitely something going on up there because they're all angry, but angry men. And you meet Paul Stevenson, he's just like, oh, hello mate, how you doing? So I think he's probably the calming influence that they'll probably need. So, but skill set wise, temperament wise, I think Nick Ball could be the guy who in 12 months we could look back and say, he's got it all.
Well, a man who could be the guy in the next few years is a man that you manage, Karol Atoma, Olympic youth gold medalist, fight number 8 for him on Saturday night. How are you finding his progress so far as a pro?
Karol's probably the coolest customer one of the coolest customers I've met, and does everything to the point, does everything absolutely 100% professionally. Before when I had the chat with him before he turned pro, and he was talking about having a nutritionist that I think works with the majority of the England rugby team. So I was, it's like, wow, okay, you're not playing here. This is a serious thing for you, and it's continued day to day since then. He's got a great team around him. Dan Willett has done a tremendous job with him. Absolutely lovely guy out the ring. But what you are starting to see in the ring from Karol is, he's obviously got the raw talent. He's obviously got the natural ability. But he's starting to look pissed off when he's fighting, which is, for me, it needs to be that next step where he's got that confidence and ability where he can let his shots go and throw shots with anger. He's biting down and he's getting rid of people. And
Bit of Denzel Bentley.
Bit of Denzel.
Why not?
You see it.
Absolutely. But I think, I'm sure you'll agree, the skill and the talent will get you so far, but you've got to have that. You've got to have that chip on your shoulder, you've got to have that anger about you, and you've got to have that arrogance that you believe you are the best. And, and if you don't have that, then there's only so far you go. But I think Karol's got it all.
Fantastic. Well, Francis, lovely speaking to you. Any sort of a final message to the fans as to why they should be tuning in on Saturday night?
Well, listen, we've just dissected 4 fantastic title fights. I think, you've got some real top talent, some of the best talent, certainly in the UK, probably across Europe as well, on show on Saturday night. Plus, and that's, and plus the undercard, Pierce O'Leary, Karol Atoma, Masood Abdullah. There's some serious talent on show on Saturday night, 100%. And I just think that, don't miss, especially the early guys as well. Don't miss their early patch of their career, because you can be the fans that say, "Oh, I saw his fight when he was only 8-0." Don't be one of those guys that pick it up late.
Don't be an after timer. Francis, thank you very much.
Cheers, fellas. Thanks a lot.